There are two kinds of knowledge, general and specialized. Which one do you think makes real money? And which one do you think is designed for the preferred of the masses? Let's find out. We're reading chapter 5 from Think and Grow Rich, Specialized Knowledge. Welcome back to another virtual reading at ABH. We are currently summarizing and reading Think and Grow Rich. Now, in our last video, we covered chapter 4, Autosuggestion. Feel free to watch that and catch up with the other chapters on the channel, as we will go on to discover through the readings. Having common knowledge can only get you so far. So in this chapter, this is specialized knowledge versus common knowledge, basically. I felt it was a good transition from the first couple of chapters. If you're not in that space of energy, if you're not in that space of manifesting, then those first couple of chapters could have turned you away from the book, right? We were talking about desire. We were talking about autosuggestion. We were talking about, speaking things into existence, right? But this chapter is basically saying, in a nutshell, and we're going to read through it, is that it's one thing to have a degree or to go to college and just to take the basic classes or just to learn a lot of things and be able to get a good job or, make a good living. But it's another thing to have specialized knowledge, to have a high threshold of understanding for one specific thing, right? So we're going to get to it and start reading. Knowledge would not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to the definite end of accumulation of money. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when and if it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. This missing link in all systems of education known to civilization today may be found in the failure of educational institutions to teach their students how to organize and use knowledge after they acquire it. It's basically saying most schooling systems or most people in civilization, they teach you to get the knowledge, right? You got to study, you got to pass grade school, you got to go to college, you got to get your degree, bachelor's, associates. We're all taught how to get it. But as it says at the end, is that no one is taught how to organize and use it. As far as I'm concerned, you go get a degree to get a job, right? I mean, in a nutshell, for the average person, you go accumulate all this schooling so you can put that on a piece of paper, give it to somebody in the field. Maybe you study, because a lot of people out there, there's a lot of people that have bachelor's or degrees in something and they're working a completely different job because they got bills due. But that's another conversation. And that being one of the first paragraphs in the chapter, it immediately gave me an aha moment. Because I'm like, yeah, that's true. I can't remember, especially coming out of high school, where not only was it emphasized to get the education, but like how to organize it, what to do with it. Like, this is where you can aim it. This is how you can build something off of this now information that you have, that you pay for through schooling, whatever, right? So that right there already got me like, okay, let me see where this goes. Again, a great book tip. If you read something within the first couple of sentences and it catches you, or it makes you think, or it makes you pause or highlight, as I did, keep that in mind as you read through the chapter. 9 times out of 10, that is the point being made. So then when you get stories or if you get things, you have to remember the context of how they started it so you can understand it better and it's not just random information. Then it goes on to define the word educate. That word is derived from the Latin word educo, meaning to educe, to draw out, to develop from within. An educated man is not necessarily one who has an abundance of general or specialized knowledge. An educated man is one who has so developed the faculties of his mind that he may acquire anything he wants or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. Sure, you have, again, the accolades, you've read all the books, you've passed all the classes, but I got action over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to sit down and actually go from point A to point B. Again, second page of the chapter, I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, first that sentence, then this statement. I'm like, okay, I thought we was going to specialize knowledge. You just say, hey, even with that, not enough. You got to know how to do it. You got to know how to move yourself. You got to know how to put yourself in position. And I relate to that more doing this channel. I'm learning how to take skills that I have, which is I think I can talk, I can host a show, I like editing, and trying to put it in motion. Any man is educated who knows where to get the knowledge, when he needs it, and how to organize that knowledge into definite plans of action. Now, those are some repeated words that you're going to see throughout the entire book. Definite purpose, definite action. And what I picked up from that when I read it the first time is like, whatever you do, it has to be streamlined. It has to be definite. It has no ifs, no what ifs, no questions. Whatever plan you want to set out to do, make sure you can put the pieces together from A to Z. And that stuck with me, because now the approach I have with anything is like, I'm not gonna think like, how can I record myself? I'm gonna think of like, what I'm gonna talk about, what it's gonna look like, what music I'm gonna use, how I'm gonna post it, when I'm gonna post it. Like, think it all the way through, so that piece of content can have life from the beginning. I try to think it all the way through, the design, the edits, and all that stuff, just so I can speak in a certain way. Like, if you know how you're gonna edit something before you record, you're gonna set it up, like speak or pause or make a face. I'm gonna zoom in on it. I'm gonna cut that out. So once you start piecing it all the way through, the overall project can have like cohesiveness. It can feel like a natural thing that's happening for the audience to watch. Before you can be sure of your ability to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent, you will require specialized knowledge of the service, merchandise, or profession which you intend to offer in return for fortune. So it's like, yeah, like what I'm doing right now is great, but I haven't made any money from this. So it's going to require me to have specialized knowledge on how to run a show, on how to host, on how to edit before I can see monetary gain. And that's what we're working towards. The accumulation of great fortunes calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in the possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. In this case, he's talking about Henry Ford. Basically was brought into question that he wasn't smart enough to run a company. And Henry Ford made the point that I'm smart enough to put the people around me who can answer those questions. I have specialized knowledge on the steel industry or on manufacturing. I may not know the answer to that, but I put the guy around me who does know the answer to that. Thomas A. Edison had only 3 months of schooling during his entire life. He did not lack education, neither did he die poor. Henry Ford had less than a 6th grade schooling, but he has managed to do pretty well by himself financially. Just driving home those points of, you don't have to be the guy with the knowledge to still accumulate money. If you're smart enough, educated enough, you'll know the holes in your game and bring people around to fill them. Anything acquired without effort and without cost is generally unappreciated, often discredited. Perhaps this is why we get so little from our marvelous opportunity in public schools. You can hear the sarcasm in that. The self-discipline one receives from a definite program of specialized study makes up to some extent for the wasted opportunity when knowledge was available without cost. This excerpt is from an example where they're basically saying there's more value in the person that goes and continues to receive education, like taking certifications. Like, you know, you can go be a pharmacy technician, you can go be a phlebotomist, like that extra study that you pay for, and they're saying that that's more valuable because you paid for it compared to the education you got in grade schooling before college, because you specifically pointed that out. You put your money up, so therefore you're going to learn it and become specialized in it because you have an investment in it. And then it continues to say on the next page, one of the strange things about human beings is that they value only that which has a price. The free schools of America and the free public libraries do not impress people because they are free. And the first thing I thought with that is like, you know how you're buying something, and if it's too expensive, you wish it was cheaper, but if it's too cheap, you think it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I felt like they were getting at right there. It's like, we value things when they're expensive because we just assume that, well, they priced it, it must have quality. And then when they make it affordable, we assume that it's cheap. It's a weird thing. We all need help, just a little bit. The person who stops studying merely because he has finished school is forever hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, no matter what may be his calling. The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge. That is what you read books for. That is what I read the book for. Let's read this again. The person who stops studying merely because he has finished school is forever hopelessly doomed to mediocrity, no matter what may be his calling. The way of success is the way of continuous pursuit of knowledge. That stuck out to me because I was trying to figure out what I was going to make, what was going to be my niche, what was going to be my base for social media, because I felt like I've tried a lot of things. You can check out the channel. I've put myself in a lot of different categories to just try to find my lane, right? And I felt like now being a father, being, you know, a little older, I'm probably in unk status now. I can't build off of being a gossip channel, right? I can make the vertical TikTok videos to promote and to gain followers about what's going on, but like, my channel cannot be he say, she say. That's how I felt, right? So I was like, okay, then what am I going to talk about? Because I don't have specialized knowledge in things I think others will want to know. And then I realized, you know, with everything that's going on right now, you don't know what's true everything's just crazy, I was like, the least you could do for yourself in this time, outside of taking care of your body, is taking care of your mind. Read a book. That's where this whole thing came from. Let's read. Let's just read. Let's just read, right? I don't even say what to read. I'm not even trying to tell you what to read. Let's just start a habit this year and continuing of being readers, of seeking knowledge, of going to get those certificates or going to get those certifications, whatever the case may be. But that's the only answer I have for what's going on right now. Let's try to be the best versions of ourselves. So whatever may happen in the future, you have already started the preparation, right? You don't want to start when it's too late. You don't want to be the last to the party and then look back and realize how much access to information you had that you just shit it off, right? And I'm speaking on myself too, right? Like I check myself and figure, okay, this is something I should share with others to maybe help them. Maybe someone's younger than me. Maybe we can get somebody to this point quicker so they can make changes and change their lives quicker, right? Read a book, get continuous education. Don't still just be leaning on your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree, especially if you're not even working in that field. But even if you are, like, don't let that be the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep getting that information. And then finally, we rise to high positions or remain at the bottom because of conditions we can control if we desire to control them. Both success and failure are largely the results of habits. We rise to high positions or remain at the bottom because of conditions we can control if we desire to control them. I need some water. It is hot in here and it's February. You can hear that statement and go two different ways with it, I think, right? Because there is an argument that a lot of people can't do things because there's a lot out of their control. And that can be a factual statement, right? People can't control the families they're born into, the financial situations they're born into, the neighborhoods they're born into, the cities they're born into, right? So that is out of people's control. But the way I'm reading it is, and to have that following statement about habits, I believe, and I only believe this because, again, this was something else I was already doing, is if you control what is controllable, you're going to better your chances of being successful. Now, what does that look like? I could say the obvious things, right? You know, you've heard, make your bed every morning and eat breakfast. Sure, those are things for life and spiritually and mentally because everything's a domino effect. But I'll give you something specific, right? I have a microphone. I have this mixer. I have this camera. I have these lights. I have this room in my house. I don't have to go anywhere. I have editing. I have everything I need to produce content. That is something I am in control. Every day I decide not to make something, I'm not controlling what I can control. So therefore, I'm slowing my process to be successful. That's how I look at it. And we know we're all guilty of this. There are times you don't go to the gym. Well, you could go to the gym. You don't miss the gym with migraines and sickness. And there's days where you feel perfectly fine and you just rather not go to the gym. At that point, that is a controllable that you're not controlling. You see what I'm saying? So that was chapter 5. That was the end of chapter 5 of what I've taken from it. Again, always go read. You might highlight completely different things. You might see something and tell me like, you didn't see this part. I'm like, damn, I missed it. That's the whole point of this. But again, like I said at the beginning, I like the fact that they pivoted to something more tangible, right? It could be a tough ask or a tough read for people who are dealing with real life issues. I feel like this chapter getting back to putting it in the person's hands, saying, hey, you can go seek extra information. You can go create specialized knowledge and you can create great habits to breed success. That is something that is tangible. That is something that says, I can close this book and start now. Dreaming, wishing, manifesting. And then on top of that, telling people like manifesting takes time. Like nobody wants to hear that when it's real life. That especially people who don't believe in it. The next chapter, well, that's funny. The next chapter is imagination. So they just jump. They give you one chapter like, all right, here's some real stuff. And it's like back to imagination. And it said at the beginning of the book, like you will kind of pick up on the theme. He didn't want to give you the answer at the beginning. He wanted to hit you so you can understand it more. I discussed that in chapter 1. And to go back to imagination and desire and auto-suggestion and all that, it's like, it's to me, the emphasis is the mind. And I guess I'll save this for the end. I'm about to recap the whole book because I read it. But like so far, 5 chapters in, you think this would be a book like chapter 5 where it's do this and it's like mental, it's like mind, it's like belief. And that's, to me, I like the fact that it drives home that point is We seem to forget this sometimes. We use it. We need it. It keeps us alive, but like we tend to forget outside of controlled studies like schoolings or work or whatever, trainings, that we have a lot of free time to actually build our mind. And this is one of the easiest times to ever do it. People used to have to go to libraries and check out books, and there's a whole, you can just Google it. Just go, if you want the book, you just Amazon, it'll be here in one day. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all watching, listening. Watch Julian on YouTube, High Key Yapper on TikTok. Thank you for subscribing. Feel free to, like I said, catch up on the first 4 chapters, get to chapter 5. We're going to get to chapter 6. Feel free to subscribe, share, word of mouth, Virtual Book Club, ABH, a book high. I will see you all at the next episode. I'm out here.